the F out.
All right, welcome to episode number 10 of the ECWF podcast. We will not get the F out. We put the F back in, and we are coming to you live from the Honda Civic Studio in the Electric City, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And on this episode, we have Mike Orlando, the elite athlete. We talk everything from high school football, college wrestling, and even getting trained by a referee. I think this guy is going to be one of those names to look out for in this upcoming year and even in the future. He's going to be on TV, I think, very soon, working for one of those bigger companies. So make sure you keep an eye out for him, Mike Orlando. Look his stuff up on YouTube. Get to know the name.
This is Mike Orlando, the elite athlete, and you should already know me, but if you don't, listen to the ECWF podcast.
Don't wanna be flying about you. Disagree my mind and rely on you. I just wanna break this crowd, but it's hard when I'm so run down and you're so cynical, narcissistic, capable. Got to bring myself back from nothing.
All right, we're back on the podcast with Mike Orlando, the elite athlete. How you doing, sir?
Good to be here.
Okay. Now, when you say the elite athlete, that's not a gimmick. Like, you really are. Like, you excelled in multiple sports in high school, college, football. You were a big star in college wrestling. You were a big star in.
College wrestling, actually, I never went into the collegiate wrestling sport.
Okay.
I continued to wrestle after high school, but it was more of an amateur thing. I didn't really take that as serious. I played college football. I went into Kane University from Manalapan, and I played 4 years varsity in high school, and had a successful 5 years there, including a redshirt year, and went on to almost put my foot into the NFL at the doors of the Oakland Raiders, and kind of decided, because I was also doing pro wrestling at the time, and I don't watch football. I don't watch any sports. I am an elite athlete, but I don't watch sports. It's the funniest thing. I mean, I just watch wrestling. It's the only real sport I watch, if you want to call it that. And I've always done these other things just because I wasn't exactly what I needed to be if I wanted to be a wrestler. So once I got down to Oakland, since we said we could say how we feel here, I got my ass kicked. And I couldn't maintain my ground with any of those guys. And the drive for football just kind of left right there. And it was like, wow, I just want to wrestle at this point. And I kind of looked in the mirror and was like, it's time to move forward and get myself right just to wrestle and stop doing all these other things. Put all my eggs in one basket, which a lot of guys tell you not to do, but so far it's been working for me.
Right. I mean, I know you said you got your ass kicked. I remember, not to compare you, but Brock Lesnar said similar thing. Like, he was at the Minnesota Vikings camp, and he said that was the hardest thing he ever done in his life.
Yeah, it's like that, man. I mean, it's also it's a mental thing that gets you too. If you don't know who somebody is, now imagine me. I don't watch football, so I don't know statistics. I don't know what a guy looks like under his helmet. So I'm walking around the locker room with all these guys. It's like walking into a WWE locker room and seeing, like, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Mick Foley, all these people in the locker room, and walking right past them because you have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
And that was a mental burnout for me too, because I'm so nervous when I'm there. And then on top of that, you don't know anybody you're playing with or anything like that. So it's not like a teammate bond.
Right.
It's every man for himself, and it's just kill the guy in front of you. It's vicious, man.
Yeah. Now, I listened to a couple of your other previous podcasts you did recently, and you were saying on one of those that the only reason you played football was for wrestling.
Correct, yeah. I mean, I only ever played, when I was in college, Dan Garrett, my coach, he'll vouch for up and down. I was a gimmick, man. I came to the field with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship like a mark. I loved it. I thought I was the man. Everybody in my college saw it. Like, oh, he's a wrestler that plays football. But the thing was, I captained my team, and we won an NCAA championship, and that is something that's really hard to do. And I don't watch football, and I still did that with my team. And it's like I played every game, every down. And that is the definition of what an elite athlete is. I mean, how can I win an NCAA championship and not watch football? And it's because I had 100 other guys that were on the same page as me, and that's wrestling. If I have other people that are on the same page as me, we're all going to win NCAA championships in this brand. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So the whole reason I ever did this was just to get to the next level.
Right. Now, did any of your parents play like sports like that? You were like so excelled at sports.
My brother was a very good baseball player. My parents are not athletic whatsoever. I love them to death, but they are not. My brother was a very good baseball player. He had gone to the Boston Red Sox, I believe, farm team for a while. Was getting all the minor league teams, and baseball is a sport that if you're either good or you're not. It's really a thin line to get better with that. So he went as far as he could, and then he became a police officer, and now he still plays from time to time. Still doing really, really well. But as far as athleticism in my family, it's pretty far out there gone. So it's pretty funny to overcome all those things and be where I am now, you know?
Right. Right. Okay. And when you played football, you were offensive lineman, correct?
Yep, offensive lineman, right guard, left guard, and tackle most of the time.
Okay. So I mean, getting into wrestling a little bit. Like how big were you from football going into wrestling?
When I started wrestling in 2011, I was 325 pounds.
Whew.
And
See, to see you now, you're like jacked from.
I'm about 270 now, but I mean, if you look at some of those old photos, if you asked me then, I would have told you I looked great.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you ask
Yeah.
me now, I'll tell you I look terrible. You know what I mean? I looked like your typical football player. I couldn't fit through a doorway. I ate everything I saw. You know what I mean? And it was good. It was good for a point, but then once you started to adapt to wrestling and NXT style and all these other New Japan styles, it's like, I can't do a back kick. I can't get my leg that high. And it's like, well, now it's time to lose weight and do that. So it's fun to, adapt to all these different things. And that's why I call myself the elite athlete, because it's like, I really have no clue what I'm doing. I'm learning every single day, and it's like, I can learn it. If you can learn it, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So I mean, like your whole plan was always wrestling, though. Like even playing all those other sports, it wasn't like a hint of like, hey, I'm really good at this. Maybe I could pursue this a little bit more. Or...
The NFL was something that I was like, hey, if it's there, I'm going to take it. But it was convenience. I was good at football, so it was like, okay, I'm going to stick with this and do wrestling at the same time. And my goal was, I wanted to be like Moose or something. Go to the NFL, get my name up there, and then leave and go to pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And that was going to be the initial goal. But you're going to tell me at the age of 20 years old if I would have got one of those $1 million contracts, if I ever would have left, I don't think so. You know what I mean? It would have got to my head and all these other things. And it's like everything happens for a reason. And at 24 now, it's like I can look back and understand the differences between the two. And I'm happy it didn't happen. I'm happy I didn't just take the convenient way and go to the NFL, because screwing all that up for myself really taught me a lot of what I needed to do for wrestling and the right ways to do it. Like, I had no technique. I had no form. I just had luck. And that's not wrestling. I want to know the right way. If I have to pick up a rapper off the floor when I'm walking into a tryout, you don't know if that's the thing they're looking for when you walk in. Are you a good person? Are you a bad person? It's like I had to learn all these little things to get to the next step. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I never thought I was going anywhere but wrestling. Since I was a little kid, I would tell everybody I'm going to wrestle when I get older. And the funniest part was the answer usually was wrestling won't be around when you're older. And that's funny. It's so funny to hear that, because here we are and it's bigger than ever, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, besides the Attitude Era, I think it's really starting to come back with all these different brands and everywhere now popping up.
Exactly. Brands and styles. Every different style of wrestling. You got Lucha Libre, you got Lucha Underground, you got where it's production, you have NXT where it's matches, you have Raw where it's a story. It's like you got so many different angles you can take, and anybody wants to shit on the other one, it's just they're being ignorant. We have so many different brands of wrestling we can watch and shut up and watch it and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Almost spoiled now, I would say.
Right. That's the whole thing. That's exactly what it is.
So, okay, like the whole time you were playing football and everything, and you didn't watch it, but like as a wrestler now, do you like sit back and watch wrestling?
Oh, yeah, man. That's all I do watch. We're on the road and I'm watching it, before we have the network, I'm watching YouTube and running my data up $50 more than I can afford every single month, because we're on these away trips, and I'm just watching like every YouTube clip I can on wrestling, because I want to be the best. Like, I look at guys like Chris Jericho. I look at guys like, even The Rock. It's they do everything they want to in life. If Jericho wants to go and sing, he becomes a rock star. He wants to go to a movie, he gets a movie role. He wants to wrestle, he goes and wrestles. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my life is kind of like that. I decided I wanted to play football. I went pretty far. Now I want to wrestle. I've always wanted to wrestle. So it's it's like I want to sit here and do that, but at the same time, I want to be so successful in life where I have all these other routes. So how do you get there? You get really good at what your trait's supposed to be. So Jericho went all these other routes in life because he was so good at wrestling and entertaining and had the opportunities. And that's what I have to do. So I would study their every move, like what they would, the little bickering talk between moves and transitions and rest holds. And if you are allowed to call them anymore, rest holds, I don't know.
Yeah.
But all these, things that different types of strikes. And it was like, wow, let me steal that and not steal that and make it my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because with rest holds, I was talking with somebody earlier today, and you don't really see that. Like, that's more like old school, like NWA, like 10-minute headlock, and now it's all like.
Yep.
I know Jim Cornette was in the news recently for saying flippity doos or whatever he was calling them, and because everything's so fast paced now.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a good worker, you just adapt. I mean, if I'm going to flip off the top rope and your spot is to kick me in my face, great. But if your spot's to duck my line and put me in a headlock and hold it for the next 40 seconds, you better be able to do that too. I mean, that's wrestling in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you watch some of these guys at NXT. I believe it was Samoa Joe and Finn Balor for the title. Would they hold a headlock for the first 2 minutes of the match?
Yeah, I think though
you know what I mean?
he was bleeding though. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Headlock's making the blood come out.
Yeah, it was. They had to stop. They had to keep stopping. Yeah, that was great. Okay, getting into wrestling now. I want to talk about from football to wrestling. That transition. How did that help you or hurt you?
If you ask everybody that's never done it, they're going to say it's helped me. I'm going to tell you, it was the hardest thing in the world to adjust to because wrestling is this dance. It's this very methodical, hey, you work with me, I work with you. Football is, I'm about to get killed as an offensive lineman from any one of these angles right now, and I have to be ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my job. My job was to be able to take a hit and then be able to react to it. And that's an insane job in the world. So my feet were always so choppy and always so ready to get hit, always going straight ahead forward. With wrestling, I would bump and bead when I first started, and I'd get up and take 150 steps before turning around because my feet acted like they were going through tires still.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really hard for a while, but then it became an advantage once I learned to decipher the differences because the problem was I still played football until 2014. So it was like every time I started to get this pace right with wrestling, I'd go back into football season and then have a match and throw drop kicks so it was still people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, okay.
So it was like, once football ended and I could completely put it behind me and I knew it was done, then wrestling became an advantage from playing football.
Okay, how would your first bump, like first day of training or first bump, compare to like hitting 300-pound defensive lineman, you said?
Oh, they're the same thing, man.
Really?
They feel almost the exact same way. Like, you got to think of it like a car crash. When you hit the mat, it's like your whole body's just getting an impact like you got hit from the back of a car. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that right there is not what your body's supposed to take. But then as a football lineman, we embrace the hit, we run our feet, and then we drive our hands, and we have to overpower. So it's like the same impact is there in a different sense. Like when I was done playing football, my elbows, my triceps, my shoulders, they were all killing me. When I'm done wrestling, the same things hurt, but in different ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Wrestling hurts, man. Wrestling is I love when people call it fake.
Yeah.
If I can pump them around for 30 seconds, it will be if they last that long because they get up the first two, fast as hell, and the third one keep them down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's wrestling.
Yep. Okay, so your training, Jim Molyneux?
Yes, I started at Old Time Wrestling with Jim Molyneux.
Okay, so for the people that say, like, Jim Molyneux, the ECWF, how is a referee going to train wrestling?
Well, see, I love that. I love when people say that, too. Like, people say, not to put him over or anything or take the topic away, but, like, Danny Cage, the Monster Factory, how is he supposed to train people if he has never been in the WWE himself?
Let me be clear. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying people...
No. I'm just addressing it. Of course. Okay. It's like people don't understand the concept. See, Jim has the it factor where he knows I've been here before, I've done this before, and I know what it takes to be there. When you have those ideas in your head, you just need a partner to reestablish that with you. So now what that is that partner is somebody I could put the wheels and the gears in motion. So Jim says, okay, I need a school that's going to do these drills because these are the drills I saw them doing for ECW for how many years successfully. So these are the drills that worked for these guys and that they were doing, so we need to make our guys do that. Then you have the proper trainer who at the school now is Brian Johnson, and he goes in there and busts his ass every single day and learns himself while teaching other people the proper way. And I feel like Jim has, excuse me, Jim has that idea that old school is still new school, but different. And it's also etiquette outside the ring, how to promote yourself, how to go up to a promoter and address yourself properly. And I feel like they did a really good job, with me. I stayed there from 2011 till about 2013 full time. And then in about 2014, I kind of, maybe even 2015, took my career other places. I was there for a really long time before I left those buildings and tried other, trainers elsewhere. And then later on, I got picked up by John Trosky, who really did a lot of my training in the last 2 years as a character and a wrestler as a whole. I have kind of the two of them.
Can I tell you my John Trosky story?
Yeah, of course.
This is supremely great, if you will.
Yes.
My first day of college, I'm walking in, straight out of high school, nervous, scared, We walk into this classroom, and there's about maybe 15, 20 kids, small class, and there's no teacher. So there's this guy sitting in the front of the classroom, and he has a laptop open. So, me and my friends walk in, look at this guy, haha, he thinks he's a big shot, Mr. Laptop over here. So a couple minutes pass, and no teacher walks in. So he stands up, and he's like, hey, I'm your teacher. We were just making fun of him 2 seconds before that. And he goes, I'm supremely great. He didn't say Mr. Trosky, anything like that. I'm supremely great. I'm a professional wrestler. I was like, I love you. and he did nothing to hide it. And I was a huge wrestling fan at that point, obviously. And he did nothing to hide it. He had his laptop open. He had all his movies, his matches showing. He was trying to sell gimmicks right there. I mean, from that day.
Wow, man, that's a worker.
Yeah, I was
like,
like,
worker, John Trosky.
This guy is great. I was like, and he's my teacher. How great could this be?
It must have been the craziest class you probably have ever had, I'm sure.
He wasn't there too long, though. That was Lackawanna College. I don't know if he would remember that if he ever hears this, but he might have did that. He might have did that a bunch of times, but I mean, I remember that one day. I'll never forget my first day of college.
Yeah, he's shot out, man. I love him. He's probably one of the greatest guys I've ever met, but he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so awesome. And he will hear this. Trust me, he listens to everything. He'll laugh at that. He's at, I believe, Penn State College now, if I'm not miscorrect.
Yeah, I think last time I heard that. But yeah, a lot of people don't know, too. He helped train Mickey Rourke when he did The Wrestler. Isn't that right?
Yeah, but he helped train Batista, down at WXW. He had done a lot of important people. Mickey Rourke, on the set of The Wrestler, had done a lot of training with John and the guys at WXW. Most of that movie was filmed in their locker room. And John had a extra role in there, and he was the referee in some of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And he does stunts for other movies as well. I believe that's his job description, stunt man. Hence why the Sanctuary is a stunt studio, which is his promotion. And he knows what the only thing I can say is I've been in this business for 5 years, and that's nothing. So I know nothing. I know what I can tell you in 5 years of wrestling.
Right.
That dude has been around for so long, like you just said, where he was a college professor going here and telling himself he's a pro wrestler. I mean, he's shot. Like, that's awesome. I'm a high school football coach, and I'm a high school football coach at Colts Neck High School. And these kids, I go in the first day, and I'm just like, oh, I'm your coach. I played here. And they're like, oh, wow, coach almost went to the NFL. He's cool, whatever, right? So the next day, these same kids come in, and they're all just, staring at me with their mouths, wide open. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, we tried to Google your NFL stuff, and we found out other stuff about you.
Right.
And I'm like, what's up? You're a pro wrestler? You know what I mean? And it was just done. It was like, what am I going to hold back at that point? I went John Johnson. I'm like, well, here's a PowerPoint of what I am. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Yeah.
oh, you know what I mean? I put myself over to the guys. You know what happens? They all go tell people, and I got a whole new fan base following my stuff that promotes me. Now all of a sudden, I'm also an inspiration as their coach, a wrestler, and all these things. However, John Joe went about it, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm doing it in a different sense. But
Yeah.
I did learn that from him as far as putting myself out there for everything.
Yeah.
And
it makes you more relatable.
right, man. He's a genius when it comes to that stuff, dude. He can teach you a perfect suplex, or he can teach you just the way to approach those kind of situations. You know what I mean? Not to put him over. He's an ass, but he's awesome.
Okay. You want to talk about the sanctuary a little bit? You said you've been there for a while.
Yes, about a little bit over a year now. I call that with my home. It's not my home.
You're the current champ there, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's a beautiful belt, by the way. Not to.
It is my favorite ever. I carry it everywhere with me. It's beautiful.
It is. Okay. I think you are also the UPWA Carolinas champ. Is that correct?
Yes, that is also my home. That's Donald Brower's promotion, and that is probably one of the most fun promotions I've ever worked, because it's one of those locker rooms where it's the boys and everybody just gets it, and we all just have a great time. And I feel like we're picking up some steam now because people see that. We're traveling a lot. We go from North Carolina to New Jersey, possibly Pennsylvania soon. You know, so it's becoming world championships. I don't care if people don't want to hear that. We're bringing it everywhere. And that's what it's all about. It's about making a brand that's worth investing into. So that's another one of my hopes.
Okay. Now, could you talk a little bit about like what it means as a wrestler when a promotion like puts their title on you, like putting their faith in you?
It's awesome, because people want to say like, oh, someone just hands you a title. It's like, no, someone's handing you the responsibility of, hey, I just invested whatever loans I just took out and don't want to admit to you into this brand, and now I'm going to trust you to take my title and make something of it. You know, champions, says a lot about a company, but the belt means nothing. The man makes the belt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That guy comes out looking like a schmuck, and people are like, wow, that's champion. It doesn't matter if that belt is a sanctuary belt. You know what I mean? He goes out there and he looks like the guy that, not to knock Ricky Rourke, but the guy that makes sandwiches at the counter at the store.
Yeah.
Like, why would I invest into that? Why would I make myself into that in any way? And that's what I feel like being a champion means, because you have to invest yourself into something greater. You have to invest into being everything you are. My car is blue with like green rims because I'm the neon green machines. Anywhere I go,
Nice.
when I get out of the car, there they are.
Living the gimmick.
So you'll always see me wearing my Zubas because I'm sponsored with them. So it's like anywhere I go, I'm really the elite athlete. You're not going to see me working at your, shop right, putting the same things on the shelf that you did 20 years ago, and then asking for $30 a ticket to come watch me wrestle. And that, I don't diss anybody that has to do that. That's not like putting them down. I'm just saying, I feel like when you have to be the champion, you need to be those things. So unless you're willing to become broke and have to use wrestling as your main source of being real, that's what the champion is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't handle that, don't be that. So with John, it's like I bring his stuff everywhere. I defend it all over the world, anywhere I can, anywhere that wants to, have us on their show. And that's important to me, because now I make his brand. ECWF had me wrestle EC3 and had me wrestle Chris Masters. And we had all these people come in to validate my title. And that's what it means to be the champion. It's not because I get these cool matches. It's because now I have a history belt with a defense that was successful for his company and makes that belt mean something. Right. So it's an honor to hold a belt, no matter which any way anybody wants to look at it.
Mm-hmm, definitely. A little earlier, you talked about, you mentioned Brian Johnson.
Right.
Can you just talk about like what he meant to your career so far and what?
Absolutely. He is probably one of the craziest people I've ever met in my life, because he is like a light switch. He goes on and off, and that is what the greatest wrestlers in the world will tell you is the best wrestler in the world, because Brian knows how to put his gear in the gear bag and become a regular person, and then he knows how to always go right back into gimmick and be that person where, he can be my trainer and he can bitch, I'm allowed to curse, right? He can bitch me out and tell me, you did this wrong, that wrong, and the other. And it's like, I could be 5 years in and I could have other trainers and all these other things, and I'll still, in the back of my head, be like, oh, man, son of a bitch is right. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, my career would not be where it is without him, man. Like, I butt heads with him constantly. That is one thing I could say, that he will always answer the phone for me and always will text me. He's a true friend. It's not butting heads like, oh, there's heat. It's like, back in the day, you know, and I don't mean to make them joke about it, but like back in the day, I had football. So I'd be exhausted after a football game on a Friday night, and they had like an OTW 2 o'clock show, and I'd be like, dude, I can't get up. He'd be like, you motherfucker, get up. You better get here. Blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, no. And I wouldn't show up. You know what I mean? And then, like, I'd go there the next week, and I'd lose to, like, God knows who in some sort of a match, and I'd have, like, 3 moves because that was my trainer, and those are the moves he told me I could do. And I'd drive all the way down there, and I'd have nothing, and I'd be all upset about it. He'd be like, all right, well, listen, you know, do things the right way, and this is what would happen. And it was like, he taught me a lot about discipline because I was such a hard head with football. You know, I would walk in there and look at Brian and be like, who the F is this guy to tell me anything? I'm this, that, and the third. I'm a football player. I'm this, I'm that. Then all of a sudden, I see this guy throwing drop kicks and arm drags and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm still working on the back body drop here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like he became like someone I was like, wow, let me watch this guy, you know? So without him, I wouldn't have a lot of guidance I have now. And I still talk to him, I would say, at least once a week, you know? And I haven't been at OTW since about October of this year because I've gotten so busy with other bookings. And I don't think it's going to be very far off till I'm there again. I believe this summer I'm working a couple dates for them, but that's a surprise. But anybody who hears this, there you go. You know? And it's good to be in his circle because there's been times, like this is another topic thing, but I went to Atlantic City one time. Mike wasn't in his right mind, and I was walking through the casino, and who did I find? Brian Johnson. And how that happens, I have no idea in the world, but night ended up being awesome.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you always have the guys that will always be there for you, and he's definitely one of them.
Awesome. I watched a match with you guys earlier. I believe it was probably earlier in your career because you weren't even an elite athlete at that. I mean, you were, but that wasn't your gimmick. You were, I think, the Smasher.
Man. Smasher, Mike Orlando.
Do you remember that?
Shit. You guys are good. You guys are good. Shit. Yeah, I remember it a little bit. Fuck.
Sorry if it brings up any negative.
That was, damn, how was that match? Let's give a review from your input on that.
I want to say you started in 2011, right?
Yeah, I believe it.
It was either 2011, maybe 2012, and you're wearing like a animal print singlet. It looks like kind of. And you guys went at it. I mean, it was good back and forth. I mean, he sold great for you, like just starting out, and you couldn't really tell that you were just starting out. I mean, everything looked smooth. I think there was a little mix up at the end, like you went for a spear or something, and I can't really remember what happened, but I mean, it was...
boy, man. Let me say, if that was 2011 and you said it was any good, that was all him. Because I would have been able to call anything. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. He probably was like, hey, shut the F up and listen to me. And I was like, no problem. And took everything he did. And he was like, give me a suplex. I'm like, suplex, okay, cool. Yeah. And the Smasher, thank God, Jesus loved it. Something changed with that. I don't know what they were going for. Maybe one day we get Brian on a podcast and ask him what the hell he was thinking with that.
Yeah, I would love to, absolutely.
I'd love to know one day. But thank God we got rid of him.
Right, okay.
I think his line was someone's going to get smashed, and I don't think that was too fun.
Right.
I don't think anyone wants to get smashed in the ring.
It means multiple things. If you.
Yeah. I'm not selling any T-shirts, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, a good way to pick up the ladies, I mean, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Until I get smacked in the face in the parking lot by the one that got sent.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Criminal justice background.
Yes. Criminal justice and psychology.
And I'm sorry. Now, that was something
No. It's, a lot of people don't know. It's just because I took extra minor in psychology recently. It is a great degree to put on the frame that I have it in on the wall because it doesn't do anything past that because I can't get a job in a police department when I'm running around being a pro wrestler, and that's cool. But I also just can't do that schedule. And that's what my job really would be with that degree.
Mm-hmm.
And, college was great, and I'm really happy I got one of those as a backup, but Lord Jesus knows wrestling needs to work.
Yeah. Now, I mean, so that's not like a backup plan at all, like, because I know your brother's a police officer, you said too.
Yes, man. Realistically, I mean, yeah, it's a backup plan. But God forbid a million times. Let's multiply that to a billion times. God forbid.
Yeah. Hopefully,
that
20 years down the road,
yeah.
maybe 35 years down
Right,
the road.
right. But hopefully, I mean, coaching too. I substitute teacher at Colts Neck High School, coach as well, and it works out okay for me.
Yeah.
It's not something I can live off the rest of my life with, but with wrestling and that, and I'm also a mechanic in the mornings, it works. I do okay with that. But I can't live forever that way. That's why if anybody in the WWE, TNA hears this, please, hey, hire me soon. That'd be awesome.
I was gonna say I had an opening. I recorded an opening before we did the interview, and I was saying that like you're one of the names to look out for, like this coming year and like in the future, because I think you're gonna be on TV pretty soon, like sooner rather than later. So not to
Thank you, man.
not to suck your little bit, but I mean I really believe that.
Thank you, man. Thank you, and I really appreciate that, man, because it took a while to get here. And I know I can all of this so cocky, but I promise everybody I am the humblest guy in the world. It's all presentations. I always believe perception is reality, and I need everybody to believe in what I believe in. And it comes off as so out in the open to everybody, and it's not really that way. It's just I've had so much failure through almost success that I'm striving for the ultimate success, and this is my way of doing it. So it's like, thank you. It's great to hear it, man. You know, honestly, because I'm really, really, when I go home, my head hits that pillow. The only thing I'm thinking of is how can I get there? What else do I have to do? What else can I impress people with? What do these people think of me right now? You know what I mean? So I really do appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, has there been any looks yet? Could you say, or?
I've had a recent, wow, I had the worst cough in the world. My allergies are terrible.
Oh, I thought you were coughing like, joking.
Oh, no. It's just allergies. I mean, wow. Yeah, I have a small little opening, but not where I can say anything of yet. I just have an opportunity that's coming up. I was with a certain company, and I had like a little audition, if you want to call it that, and they gave me an opportunity coming up in the summer, and as soon as I get there, I'll be posting 1,000,001 selfies in the ring so everybody can see it, and that's exactly when I know I can say it.
Okay.
But it's by no means a big look. So anybody else that's interested in me, again, please grab me because I am so open.
Okay.
And but something else last year that was pretty close. I was on Raw for a while and a lot of interviews done with them and had gotten pretty close with that, but that was also done a little bit differently than I had expected it to be done. And I'm going to Ring of Honor this summer for the camps that they'll be doing, and hopefully working with Evolve down in Florida. Not for a camp, hopefully a booking, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, hopefully that leads to another door with the big boys. I've been working with other schools recently that I don't know if they want me to put the name out there that have had some opportunities to get me a look as long as I continue working with them. So that's great.
Nice. Okay, jumping a little bit around here, but you talked about the criminal justice background, and that could be a backup way down the road. But I mean,
Right.
what would you say to people that say like having a backup plan, you're kind of planning to fail already?
Not at all. Because with me, it was like I had to play college football to get to the next level. I was not a scholar by any means at all, and anybody who knows me is probably laughing hearing me in the death because I got by with the skin of my teeth in college, and that is okay to admit because Thank God I can wrestle. And I actually suck at wrestling, so I can't wrestle.
No,
But,
don't say that.
No, I'm kidding. But it's basically like I had to do it. And in the meantime, the WWE wasn't signing me yet. So what am I going to do in the meantime? I have to do something. Why not do something productive? I mean, I have to be here anyway. I have to be in school. I might as well get something that I can do something with. But like I said, I mean, I got a frame that I joke around with everybody with a degree in there. And I'm like, oh, there it is. You know, never going to use it. It's going to sit there. Like, you know, and I really do hope I can use that line when I do make it there one day. And it's just like, hey, well, you know, I do have a degree in, you know, this, that, and the third. But look at Xavier Woods. Yeah, he has a PhD.
Yes,
You know what I mean? If people want to say that's a backup plan for him, no way. That's a guy taking advantage of his opportunities.
Yeah.
He has a school right there where he can go to and train and live at the same time. And he's like, you know what? I have free time for that, and I'm going to do it. And someone's going to pay for it. I mean, hi, scholarship to football, same with me. Nice to meet you. You know what I mean? It's not a backup plan. It's I'm going to be larger than life. And hey, maybe when I get signed one day, I can be like, is that what everybody gets? Yeah. Okay. Well, do I get a little bit more because I have this degree? They're probably like, no, but at least I tried. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. Okay, and just to bring it like way back, I listened to your other podcast you did, and you mentioned Chris Jericho and like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, like those are your guys growing up, Mr. Perfect.
Right, and Ultimate Warrior. You
Oh,
got
okay.
them all on the head, nail on the head, all of them.
Okay. Well, what about them? Like, was like, hey, is that what turned you on? Like, I want to do this.
Triple H. Okay, so what happened with Triple H being my favorite was I hated his ass. He was the worst guy in the world when I was a kid, and I never liked him. And then he was going in a role where we were going right into, I believe, WrestleMania 16, maybe, or 15. And he was almost becoming a babyface, but he was a tweener. But he was like wearing like, you know, the golf cap and the denim jacket, had Stephanie with him. But he was a total badass heel. But all of a sudden, he was like teasing he might be babyface. So he was going to do an autograph signing at WWE New York in Times Square, and it was called WWE New York, right? WWF.
The restaurant, yeah, I know you're talking
and
about.
my sister had taken me there, and she's older than me, and we had to take the bus from New Jersey to meet him, and they said there was an autograph signing or whatever. They didn't give any details about it, and back then there was no internet or anything you look it up on. You watched a little advertisement on Raw that was like, come to WWF New York and meet Triple H. Like, oh shit, wow, I gotta go. And then my sister was like, okay, we're gonna go. So we take the bus and we wait on this extraordinarily long line, and we're waiting there the entire time, and get to the front finally, and Triple H is sitting there, and they're signing these WrestleMania books. It was these WrestleMania anniversary books that came on like a DVD or whatever, and it had Triple H on the cover, and they were like, you need to buy the book for him to sign it. The book was like $150. It was a crazy number like that. And we had just waited in this line. My sister was probably like 19. I was probably like, I don't know, 7, 6. And neither one of us had that money. And they were like, oh, well, you know, sorry, he's not signing anything else. And they sent us off the line after waiting probably 3 hours.
Oh, man.
And as we're walking away, Triple H was like, you're sending a little-ass kid off my line. And he was like, what about this one? There was like a defective book or something that was bent on the cover or something that someone didn't want. And he goes, here. And he signs it and gives it to me. And he goes, don't let people push you around. Take this. Gave me a $150 book. And now, I'm a little kid. Now, he gave me that. Everything he did was okay with me after that point. Even somebody with a sledgehammer on TV, that was cool with me. That guy gave me a book. That was my boy.
That's
and
awesome.
I just admired him for that. And I watched everything he did in the ring, and I feel like watching him grow as somebody that people want to say, oh, he married the boss's daughter and took charge. Like, good. Wouldn't you do it if you could?
Right.
She's pretty hot. I mean, she does pretty well for herself as well. Would you not want that? Like, you just want to hate on someone else for doing it? He is awesome in life. He's going to control the company that he works for so long, and he hit rock bottom there, and he worked his way right back up to the top. And his ring work, to this day, he was just WWE champion, and nobody in the world had a problem with it. Yeah. Nobody. because it was still just as entertaining as it was 10 years before that, and it was different because he was talking about how he is still the guy because he should be holding the title that guys still can't hold. So they wanted to get Roman Reigns over with that, and what happened? We gave it to Roman Reigns. People booed the hell out of him because Triple H was that damn good still. So I had a personal thing with him that I just studied everything he did for that. The other guys were all guys that just caught my attention as is. I mean, they were good guys. You know, Ultimate Warrior, Shawn Michaels for the most part. He was just kind of like a little bit in between, but Ultimate Warrior is an idol to me. I mean, I used to run around the house screaming like him and doing all the crazy stuff, you know, and had no idea what any of it meant. And as far as Chris Jericho, that was more of watching his stuff as I got older and admiring his work when I wanted to be a worker. His Japan work, his WCW work, his promo work, watching him debut in 2000. I remember watching that at home and like being so interested in everything that was going on. And then to debut against The Rock, it was like, oh, okay, he's important. I get this. You know what I mean? It was like he was always important to me in that aspect. So all the guys I named, it's like I'm hoping to God I can get a match with them. I mean, unfortunately, some of them not available any longer to have matches, not here with us, but those would be my ideal matches as well, always, if people ever ask.
And you mentioned your sister. Was she like a big wrestling fan like you, or she just went around for the ride?
She actually got me into it, man.
Oh, really?
That's crazy you asked that. She loved it. She was a little bit of a tomboy, and I love her, and I'll admit that, and at the back in the day. And she loved Mick Foley and the Faces of Foley and all this stuff. And we would all just watch it as a family, I guess, me and my brother and my sister. And I just loved it, probably from the age of 5 and on. But she wasn't really a fan when Triple H was there, but she knew how bad I wanted to go. My father worked a ton. He was unfortunately never home, and he was going to take me originally, and he couldn't. So he was like, oh, well, I'll leave, Tara the money. She could take you. So we went on the bus together. She had to, go through all that. So she was a fan, but not at the time. So I do commend her that, too.
Nice. Okay. And like, when you got into wrestling, like, were your parents supportive of your dream?
No.
No?
They were not in any way. They didn't get it. They were like, okay, so you're good at football, right? What are you doing? What is this? Why are you doing this? Well, I don't want to, play football. I want to wrestle. And they're like, okay, well, that's cool. College is here, and they're going to pay for it for football, so you're going to play football, and you're not going to waste your time doing this stuff. So it was like, it was butting heads a lot. They didn't really get it. But then as soon as they came to my first show, which was 7 months after training. So imagine that. For 7 months, I had to tell them I was a pro wrestler and give this guy money because I'm in college. I had no money. My parents would give me money to give this guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I don't mean disrespectfully. I'm just saying, Jim.
Yeah.
And they have to continue to fund it, but they're not seeing any results. So like 7 or 8 months, I finally had my first match, and they came. They were like, wow, that was different. Wow, he really wants to do this, and he wasn't too bad at it. You know what I mean? And then did they get supportive of it? They didn't get it. They thought I was still kind of playing around.
It was like a phase,
but they were more supportive. And then my father, unfortunately, he gets really busy. He's not really around, but he listens to everything my mother says. So my mother came to me versus Chris Masters. And I hope he hears this. Billy Kidman came over to my mother and introduced himself and, started talking about some words with my mother about me. And my mother did not know who Billy Kidman was or anything, but Billy Kidman had told my mother he worked within the WWE and had some, connections with things, and was just giving my mother some, confidence, like telling her, hey, he's going to be very talented. He's very good. He's going to go places, just keep supporting him, blah, 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 blah. And I wrestled Chris Masters, and we had a great match with Earl Hebner as a ref, and Earl was probably my favorite ref in my life to have out there because he was the best at communicating everything. So the match went beyond fluent, and afterwards, Chris Masters went over to my mother and thanked my mother and was like, hey, your son's very, very good. And that's not putting myself over. That was actually the first time my mother got it.
Nice.
She was like, holy shit, like, whoa. These people, I have their action figure for him. I bought him his action figure. He just came over to me. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when she was like, okay, whatever we need to do, we got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they got really supportive. So I can't sit here and say they don't support me anymore. They are very much on my side. And they are pushing for me very hard as much as possible. My mother has me doing, speeches at her school. She's a special education teacher. So I get to do motivational speeches for people. And it's like she understands what I need to do now. So she also helped me get my job at Colts Neck as a coach. And it's with those kids, I get to motivate them in different ways and yet still promote my wrestling because I'm just like them. These guys want to grow up and be whatever they want to be before college. And I'm growing up still and being everything I want to be. And together I could teach them what I failed from and they could teach me what I need to learn from, which is like that innocence of learning. Mm-hmm. And that, you know what I'm saying, absorbing everything and learning something from it.
Right. Okay. Could you talk a little bit about, did you do some work for CZW?
Not on their main roster yet.
Okay.
I did a lot of their Dojo Wars, which is their main roster. I don't mean to degrade that. That's their main roster, but they only do their shows on Wednesdays so far. But we did have a couple main shows that I was on. Yeah, I work with CCW. I haven't been on any of the tournament deaths or anything because, quite frankly, I just have no interest in that because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I love the wrestling aspect of that, and that's why I love DJ Hyde and everything they promote down there. And if they ever gave me any opportunity there, obviously I would take it. But I get to work with the greatest guys in wrestling when I get to go there, like Drew Gulak and DJ. And I learned so much in such a little bit of time, and they never kick us out. They keep us there all day. It's a great place, man. Great place to be.
Nice. Okay. We could talk about some of the people you worked with in your career so far. Okay. I'm just gonna throw a couple names out there, and if you want to just say a couple words about them or any stories you have.
Sure.
Brandon Scott.
Great, awesome guy. I hope to see him again soon.
Okay. He's a guy that's around our area a lot with
Virginia, right? Is that where he's at? Virginia?
Well, he's in Maryland Championship Wrestling. This is his big thing now, but we seen him up here in it was GSW Grand Slam Wrestling in Music, PA.
Oh yes.
So we seen him a couple times there, but I saw you worked him a little bit.
He's awesome, man.
Okay. Were you on a card with Crowbar?
Oh yeah, I trained with Crowbar a lot at Mike Morgan's Ace Academy. Crowbar is
I was a huge fan growing up.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in wrestling. Here to help everybody, no ego whatsoever. Can teach you more in 10 minutes than you can learn in an hour with anybody. And he just so humble, and he's been through so much. His knees are rebuilt, and he's completely has rebuilt, restructured knees, and he still wrestles to this day. Mm-hmm. And he's awesome. Awesome guy to be around. A great locker room leader.
Nice. Okay. Warlord and Barbarian?
They're awesome. I keep using the same word, but I literally I don't want to mark out when I see them.
Right.
But when they're in the locker room with us at any show, they are not intimidating because they're the nicest guys in the world, but they're so intimidating because they're so big and so animalistic, and they can still go better than half of indie wrestling. Sorry, guys. They're awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I have Mason Ryan, and before you say anything about him, can you just say he's actually a good worker because he got that stink in WWE where this guy can't wrestle or he's a Batista wannabe, something like that?
He can work. He can absolutely work. I've seen him work matches against the Stro down in from WCW mm-hmm. At UPWA in North Carolina, and he is a very entertaining person. I feel like if he's given the creative freedom to do so. He did this big warrior gimmick when he came down to UPWA and just kind of came out and had an accent and was just very over the top, happy to be there. People kind of just got behind him, and now he does his that carnival. What is it? Some sort of a carnival show that incorporates fighting or something, but he does great for himself. It's on production TV, and travels the world. And mm-hmm. I believe he's taking a little hiatus from wrestling right now, but he can work, man. He's a great guy, very humble, mm-hmm. can answer a billion questions for you, and I don't think he had a stink. I just think he was in the wrong guy at the wrong time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I feel like they didn't use him right up there, and he was just, like you said, creatively, like, handicapped there.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I have past, let me say that again, a past podcast guest, Stockade.
Yes, Stockade. He's probably smiling, not. Yeah, he's a really, really cool guy to be around. Good friend of mine. He'd ask him that. I don't know if he'll call me his friend. Probably not. We're cool. We have like this feud everywhere we go. Whenever people see Stockade, I'm like, go in another car. Like, oh, let's have them fight. It's like, okay, cool. Stock, what do you want to do? Oh, well, I'm just hitting me over the head with cinder blocks. Cool.
Yeah, he told us that story.
You know, yeah, so he's crazy. Let's put him there, but awesome person, and I wish him nothing but the best in this business, and I think he'll get the best.
Okay. Another past podcast guest.
Who's this? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Len Oddity. You don't remember working him? A clown guy, kinda. Painted face. That's okay.
I'm not. Wait a minute. Is this not my man from the head of Ring of Honor, top 12 prospect, right?
No. He's like a hardcore guy.
Oh wait, from UWC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. We just interviewed him. We just interviewed him last week or the week before he was on.
Oh, I haven't from like probably about 2 years now. I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, he's still going.
Actually, great to hear from him actually. But continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. No problem. Obviously, EC3.
That was an honor. Great constructive criticism without criticizing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like he is the future of wrestling in his own little way. Very cool guy. Great match with him. You should buy the DVD if you guys go to upwa.com.
There it is. And we just talked about that before, but you saw the promo he cut this weekend in Evolve.
Yes.
He kind of just.
How did you feel about that? You got my input. I said, I'll tell him, hey, I said that you're probably going to get heat for that promo. And if he listens to this, he might. I send him stuff, and he might listen to this. I said you're going to get heat for it, but I mean, I think, wow, cool. I mean, like you said, it's someone had to say it. I'm not dissing it, so please, NXT, WWE, do not think I don't want to work for you. I still want to work there so bad. I don't agree with him.
I think he knew what he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He is EC3. Let him get whatever might be going on with TNA, and that's why I don't want to talk about any details of anything. We don't know. It's very up in the air. They might get sold. Ring of Honor's interested. The Harris brothers are interested. I believe that's who they are. You don't know what's happening with that. So he is protecting his brand. So good job. You know what I mean? But you might get a little heat, but he's okay with that.
Oh yeah, I don't think he gives a shit. I think a lot of what he said was the truth though about them dropping the ball, and even with Drew Galloway, he put him over, and he mentioned Bill DeMont in there because the Bill DeMont stories.
Absolutely.
But
well, let me answer your question though. You guys watch TNA?
Here and there, mostly I get updates from Facebook or websites, stuff like that. I don't sit down and watch it like I would Raw or something like that.
Right. I don't watch it consistently, but I always watch the reruns. You know what I'm saying? I always watch what I can when I can.
You can't find the channel either. It's on Destination America, then it's on Pop. And then...
Exactly. My biggest thing is this. Drew Galloway is awesome as TNA champion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is very cool to see him get his little moment. And I don't mean little moment because it's not little. It's get his moment as champion and do whatever TNA wants him to do. And I think EC3 is in a great position to help rebuild TNA. I think TNA needs to rebuild themselves networkly and everything they have to get fixed financially, and that will help a lot. But my question lot of it was true. But look at the storylines of TNA. That's the only good thing that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why that validates everything he's saying. Because as bad as that company can get dissed by everybody, try to diss EC3 and Drew Galloway, and you can't.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he cuts that promo, and then people are going to hear about that on the internet and say, wait, who? What? Wait, where does he wrestle? TNA? Okay, I'm going to check this out. So, okay, I have, you got an award, most hated wrestler of the year. Was that fan voter, or was that a legit? Like, was that a word?
I mean, that's legitimate.
Yeah.
They really hate me over there, I guess.
Okay.
I was supposed to be honored by that at some banquet, and it was for ECPW, and I've never been a babyface whatsoever there, so I guess I've done my job. But yeah, most hated. They don't like me, for sure.
I mean, you're supposed to be honored. I mean, you look happy holding it. I can say that.
Hey, man, if someone says they hate you, I mean, at least they're talking about me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
At least hashtag I hate Mike Orlando. I'll hashtag it with you.
There you go. We'll get that starting.
There you go.
Okay, could you talk about the Canada trip and it got cut short?
Yeah, we had gone to UCW in Nova Scotia. Is that right? I think it's UWC or UCW. I'm sorry, I can't remember for sure. But we went. It was me, Buff Graber, Jay Santana. We drove from New Jersey to Nova Scotia. God bless us. And
wait, before you go, I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you real quick. Did you have any problems with customs?
No, not there. I believe on the way home they were really nasty.
Okay.
There, no.
Okay.
But it took a little while there. But no. But at home they were just super nasty. It's like when we were like, did you make any money? We're like, no. They're like, oh, you're professional wrestlers that make no money. That makes a lot of sense. I was like, oh. Apparently you've never heard of independent wrestling. He's like, what did you say? I was like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had drove all the way there, and Jay Santana and I had wrestled in a match where the spot was he had to take a drop kick in the corner, and he did the Rikishi drop in the corner, where the stink face would come. So the drop kick was just going to go to his gut instead of upwards. So I threw the drop kick, and I guess he tensed up. And he pulled his feet together, and I landed on his feet. He didn't open his legs; he closed them last second. So I landed on his foot, and he had broke his foot when I landed on it. This was about a year ago, a little bit over that now. So his foot gets broken. We go back to the hotel, and we talk to the promoter, and we're like, "Oh, check out his foot." Everybody's like, "His foot's broken. You guys need to go to the hospital." So we go to the hospital in Canada. Healthcare for a U.S. citizen in Canada, goodbye.
Yeah,
you know
non-existent.
what I mean? Not very. So they were like, okay, for $30,000, we'll fix you up. And he was like, fuck that. I mean, forget that.
No, you can say fuck.
And we went back in the car, left. And the promoter was like, okay, here, man, here's the rest of the money for what we were going to give you, and get home safe type stuff. And we leave. So as we're leaving, we're driving home. We get probably about 4 hours away from home. I think we were in Massachusetts. And it was probably 4 a.m. in the morning. And a woman fell asleep driving next to us on the parkway, let's call it, or highway, whatever. And she went from the left lane and made a complete right turn into the side of my car.
Oh.
So we got hit, I think, 90 miles an hour into the side of the car while we were going 70 forward. So my car got flipped off the side of the road, and we got really effed up, to say the least. And Jay was in bad shape for a while. He wasn't really walking for a long time, and I believe Buff didn't get too banged up, just whatever. I had passed out. I was driving the car. But we had no... It was a crazy situation, man. And this is on the record, God honest truth. We got into that accident. They came. They were like, your car's totaled. You need to tow it. So I was like, okay. And we got put to the side of the road. Then all of a sudden, the guy with the tow truck was like, we're going to take you to a rest stop. And we're like, a rest stop? Our friend isn't even awake right now. What do you mean a rest stop? Can we take care of this? Oh, middle of Massachusetts. They took us to a rest stop, not even a hospital. So we're standing at a rest stop, and we're like, this is real life right now. And I'm like calling my parents trying to figure out what to do. And then Jay completely like has like a seizure type thing, and like seized out in like the rest stop. So then an ambulance came and picked us up and brought us all to the hospital.
Wait, so they were lying? The tow truck was lying to you at the first place? The ambulance never came in the first place?
No, the ambulance came. Was just like,
oh, okay. But you were out of it at that point, right?
They didn't even talk to us. They didn't give us any release forms. Nothing. They were like, fuck, they're awake. They're good. And like left us. And the tow truck took us to the rest stop, and then we had to call an ambulance to come pick us up. So then we all got to the hospital or whatever, and then we all got checked and everything, and I had a back problem or whatever from it, and it was bad, man. It was a rough time. I totaled my whole car and had to get insurance to basically buy me a new one because I'm broke. So it is what it is, man. That was a fun trip. But I'm looking forward to going back this summer. But I am.
Yeah, I mean, that's scary. I can't imagine. Like, jeez. But
I hate driving now, man. It's terrifying. When other people driving, I fall asleep in the car, like in the passenger seat, I wake up screaming.
Did you do any overseas trips yet, or just is Canada the farthest you went?
Canada is the farthest I've went, but Puerto Rico, I believe, is coming soon.
Nice.
That's going to be really fun, and I'm going to Europe. That's an announcement that I just announced right now.
There we go.
I'll be going to Europe, I believe, in October, November time.
Okay.
And I'll release all the details of that when it's available. But that's awesome for me. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. We're kind of winding down a little bit here, but I wanted to I had one more question for you.
Sure, you're laughing. Uh-oh.
I don't want to laugh to make fun. I just thought it was great. The Tough Enough video.
Uh-oh. What do you think of it?
I mean, I watched it, and you said, here it goes, Tough Enough, take 10. And was that, like, your 10th time, like, trying out, or 10th time recording that particular video?
No, it just meant it like in a sarcastic
okay.
way. Like, here's
but no, I thought the video was good, though. I mean, I liked that. I thought...
Yeah, no, it was good, but if I could change anything, this is the God honest truth, and everybody that I lived with in college knows, that was my college house, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We came back from football practice, and this is when Tough Enough was already going for like a week, and I was one of those wrestlers that was like walking around with my whatever hanging between my legs, like, I'm not doing Tough Enough. I'm a real wrestler. I'm not doing that stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm saying all that and all whatever. And my ass of an ex-girlfriend cheated on me. So I went ballistic and was like, gonna kill her. No, not literally. I don't mean that on a podcast. Let's not say that. But I was going ballistic about it, and I was so angry. And my friend was like, yo, film a Tough Enough video right now. And
it was perfect timing, yeah.
I was like, I don't want to film those stupid videos. You know, take me 10 takes to film some stupid video and pretend that I have to be humble enough to join a competition. They were like, do it. And they just started filming. So if I could change one thing, I would make it more professional. Okay. And actually stand in front of a screen instead of like selfieing my camera and shaking from head to toe because I was so mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that happened, and then I went to training, and excuse me, I got to training, and in the middle of training, Gino Caruso came in and was like, "Hey, you were just on Raw and played your video." I was like, "What video?" He was like, "From your Tough Enough audition," and I was like, "Get out of here!" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what I mean? And then Anthony Haynes, to this day, he listens to my stuff. I know he does. Anthony Haynes was one of the guys that mentored me a lot when I was younger. And I'll never forget, he messaged me and was like, yo, you were just on Raw. Good shit. But what a bullshit-ass video that was, man. Way to be so productive or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So unprofessional, dude. Never again. I was like, wow, way to compliment me and take it right back, dude. But, yeah, man, if I could change that, I would be a little bit more professional and not be in my football headband and everything like that, thinking I was cool.
Right. Well, I mean, if there's ever another season Tough Enough, hopefully you might be there by then, but...
Oh, man, if they do another Tough Enough, that video is not going to be anything like that. That video is going to to be like, hey, my name is Mike Orlando. Please don't watch this video. Watch me really eventually. Please.
All right, buddy. I want to say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I had a lot of fun talking, man.
Definitely. And where can people see you coming up in the future here?
Let's see. I'm going to be this weekend. I'm going to be in Friday in Brooklyn, New York at Great Combination Wrestling, BCW. Wow, that might not be Brooklyn. That might be Queens, actually. I think it's Queens. I messed that up there. It's Queens. Slots. I'll be taking on TJ Marconi. I'll be taking on Stockade and Riot Rays on Friday. Be there. Saturday, I'm going to be at Ace Pro Wrestling. I'll be taking on Stockade. Go figure. Look at that. What did I tell you?
Yep.
At Ace in Wallington. And on Sunday, which is, I believe, the 8th, check my website. This is a little plug here, therealeliteathlete.com. I have all my scheduling on there. That'll tell you where I'll be on Sunday. I do some work under a mask. That you can find more information on that at superticket.com. At the Big Orlando is my hashtag. My bar for Instagram and Twitter. I have no social media presence apparently because I just sound like a moron saying that. And Facebook.com/Elite Orlando is where you can get me online. And I always answer my fan mail and everything like that as best as I possibly can. So yeah, man, keep up with me. I'll be at Tier 1 the weekend after that, on the 20th, and on the 21st I will be somewhere where I can't remember on the top of my head because my mind's all over. But the next day I'll be at Lucha Libre Productions at Laboom in New York. That should be pretty crazy as well. I'll be wrestling Latin Dragon.
Nice.
Doing a little segment with Jigsaw as well. So if you guys want to check some of that stuff out, a little different Elite Athlete.
Absolutely. I want to come out and see you sometime if you're around this area.
Please, man, yes. Always message me. Message me ahead of time. I'll hook you up.
All right. Like I said, I want to say thank you once again for being on. And I really appreciate it. All right. That was our episode with Mike Orlando, the Elite Athlete. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Great Triple H story in there. Great story all around. Great guy. And like I said in the opening, this guy is going to be a name you guys really want to look forward to this upcoming year and in the future, the very near future. I see big, bright things for this guy. And let's get out of here on our plugs. Check out the Facebook group page, Electric City Wrestling Fans. Add as many people as you want, like I always say. iTunes, Electric City Wrestling Fans. Make sure you guys subscribe. Like, rate, review, 5 stars, leave a comment, spread the word, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's make this network thing. Help us out. Thanks.